Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Mr. Deputy Speaker, UNESCO defines technical vocational education and training, TVET, as the education or training process which involves, in addition to general education, the study of technologies and related sciences, and acquisition of practical skills relating to occupation in various sectors of economic life and social life that comprises formal, that is organized programs as part of the school system, and non-formal, those organized outside the school system. Before I start my speech, let me quote what Ms. Akiko Sakamoto, who is the specialist of the ILO in the skills and development and employability specialist, at a recent conference in Bangkok in the context of the 100th anniversary of the ILO. I quote, "Along with the impact of technology and other megatrends such as climate change, aging population, and globalization, debates on the future of work often focus on what skills will be needed in the future, how those skills should be acquired, and how training providers need to adjust. However, we need to pay greater attention to whether those skills are making a difference in achieving inclusive growth," and unquote. Now, when it comes to our TVEP sector, before I come to that new authority, let's see what we have today with regard to training and training system and human resources development. I won't go as far back as Honorable. Now let's see what we have operational today. We have the Mauritius Qualification Authority, which was established under Section 3 of the Inquiry Act of 2001. And this authority acts as a regulator. Let me quote Section 4 of the objects of the authority. The objects of the authority shall be: A, to develop, implement, and maintain a national qualifications framework, to ensure compliance with provisions for registration and accreditation in this Act, to ensure that standards and registered qualifications are internationally comparable. This is the MQA, the regulator. Then in 2003, we had the Human Resources Development Act, which acts as a facilitator. And Section 4 of the Act deals with the object of the Council. The object of the Council shall be to promote human resources development in line with national economic and social objectives, stimulate a culture of training and lifelong learning at the individual, organizational, and national levels for employability and increasing productivity, and to provide the necessary human resource thrust for successful transformation of the economy into a knowledge economy.
Can you switch off your phone, Honorable Dayal, please?
And then again, we have the third institution. So the Human Resources Development Council acts as a facilitator. And then we have in 2009, the MITD Act, which took over the activities of the IVPTB and acts as the provider of training. The objectives of the institute, the MITD, is good to go because we will see how this authority will duplicate the work of this institution. The objectives of the institute, that is the MITD, is to promote excellence in technical and vocational education and training, promote research and enhance knowledge in technical and vocational education and training, increase access to technical and vocational education and training through the setting up of training centers, promote exchange programs and courses with other institutions in technical and vocational education and training assist in the apprenticeship of persons who are or will be employed in commercial, technical, and vocational fields. So we have, Mr. Deputy Speaker, these three institutions which are supposed to look at the TVET sector, and they has been around for nearly 15 years, if we start with the MQA. But yet again, after 5 years of this government, Honorable Ratner is telling us that people are still coming to look for a job. While no bureau. So there is some problem with these institutions. And still among the youth, we have 20, according to the ILO figures, 23.49% in March 2019 youth unemployment. Those under 25. And we are still, and this morning the Honorable Minister in presenting the bill, is still mentioned the issue of mismatch in employment. So we have had these three institutions for the last 15 years. We still have unemployment. We still have many youth who cannot find a quality job. And many employers cannot find the right people to fill the existing jobs. What have these institutions done before coming with another authority? Have there been, the first question we have to ask ourselves, have these three institutions delivered on their respective objectives? We should have done an audit, an institutional audit, not a financial audit, an institutional audit to determine the shortcomings of the present structure before introducing a new bill, just creating another authority. This is what we should have done. You know, in a country like Singapore, now we are going to have a fourth authority now. In a country like Singapore, which has a population of nearly 5.6 million people, have only one TVET institution with 3 branches, but only one umbrella one, and they have 3 high-tech power training centers. And here we are going to have a fourth authority. And when one listens, and I'll come to that later, let's be clear. The idea of having an independent authority to regulate TVET sector would have been a good one had we make an audit of the 3 institutions we have. So the question is, are we going the right way? Are we not duplicating the works of the other 3 institutions I've just mentioned? Mr. shaking his head and saying, no, but when you look at the objective of this, when I come up with the objective and you see what these institutions are doing, we are going, this authority will go and do the same thing. And what is worse, there is no mention in the bill how this authority we are creating today will work with the other 3 authorities. There is nothing in the bill which will tell us whether the MQA, that authorities, will take over some of the powers of the MQA, the HRDC, or the MITD. And there is no consequential amendments to these 3 acts creating those authorities. So we already have 3 authorities who are regulator, supplier, and feeder. Now we are going to have another authority with no mention in the law how they are going to collaborate, if any, with the 3 existing authorities. And even in her second speech, the Honorable Minister did not mention how they will, you will have your time to some don't be nervous.
Order, please.
First of all, one serious issue. I've done my homework before coming. I've met many people in this sector. There has been no consultation whatsoever. There have been no input in preparing that bill from these 3 institutions. They were only informed They were only informed that a bill is coming, and this is the bill. And informed by whom? By the advisor of the minister. Did you tell me to shut up? Is that, can the Honourable Minister is allowed to tell me to shut up when I'm on my feet?
Not the language that I normally use, and I would ask the Honourable Member to withdraw this one. I don't use such type of language.
Then, there has been no consultation whatsoever.
Mr.
Are you raising a point of order? Yes.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I heard the Honourable Member say that the Minister has said shut up. I don't use such type of language, and I would ask him to withdraw what he said. Okay, that's better.
Yes. First of all, there has been no consultation, and there has been not a sort of round table inviting those responsible of the ITD or all these sectors to come and have a contribution in the preparation of this bill. They were just informed at the last minute that there has been a bill which has been produced. They were shown a copy of that bill, and they were informed by the advisor of the minister. It's according to what I've learned from the very same people. I won't identify them because I know how this government works when it comes to reprimand and transfer. And I'm assured that the Honourable Minister, if ever there has been any consultation, she come and inform us the date and time and with whom she has been dealing in preparation of this bill, be it at the MQA, be it at the MITD, be it at the Human Resources, HRDC. Now, Section 4 of the bill, let's look at Section 4 of the bill. Deals with the objects of the authority. A, 4A, regulate TVET sector. Under this government, we have seen the TVET sector fragmented in many pieces. The AMT-ITD provides training and operates under the aegis of the Ministry of Education. We have a new body created by the same ministry called the Polytechnic, replicated more or less the same programs. We have the Fashion Designer Institute, i.e. the Fashion Design Institute, providing training in graphic and design under the aegis of the Ministry of Commerce, which was an MITD center. And this year, this Fashion and Design Institute took over the School of Jewelry from the MIT. And yet there is no representative of the Ministry of Commerce on the board of the Skills Development Authority board. According to the latest report of the MITD, it is responsible for operation of 15 training centers and 10 provocational training centers. Have there been an audit in these centers? Tell us whether they are delivering the goods they were supposed to deliver. They were functioning according to law. This is the question we have to ask. Delivering courses, the MQA has approved these courses, but is the MITD going in the direction of the MQA? Has it been so? We shall be in a situation today when people are still looking for work and employers still looking for workers, and there's still that mismatch in our economy, in our labor sector. Now, Section B of the objection, 4B. Ensure quality assurance in TVET sector. But this is done by the MQA. It's actually performed by the MQA. In July 2008, the MQA published a quality assurance framework for the TVET sector. And it is a fully comprehensive document. I won't take the time of the house. It is on the net. It is the channel they have just published. They are doing that job today. They deal with quality assurance framework in Mauritius. They deal with quality audit, quality control, quality assessment, implementation. They have just published a document, and now we are going to create an authority to do exactly what the MQA just done last in July 2018. Section C, confer awarding powers to training institution. Does that mean any training institution, be it public or private, will henceforth be allowed to award its own certification and conduct its own assessment, which is in direct conflict with the MES? Are we to understand that this authority will act in parallel with the MES, which will conduct all the assessment exam for the TVET sector? This bill is silent on that issue. I hope the Honourable Minister in her seminar will enlighten the House. Now, develop 4D, still on the objects of the authority, develop a skills framework. But the HRDC is doing that today. It is the objectives of the HRDC in producing a human resource plan. One of the main objectives of the HRDC is to develop schemes for retraining and multi-skills. What about career counseling to our youth? Career guidance. We all know that a skill framework should demonstrate a sound database on career pathways and occupation and job roles in emerging sector. Now, maintaining the skill development fund. This is very important. Today, and while dealing with that, I shall refer also to section 21 of the bill, which creates the creation of that fund. Today, already companies are contributing to the fees levied to the HRDC. Now, is that authority going to take over that management of the fund? Or companies will have to pay further fund to that authority? Because now it is the HRDC which is managing the training levy grant, which I think is 2% from the salaries paid to the workers. So these are questions which people are asking, and unfortunately the minister was silent, and the law, the bill as it is silent with regard to funding. Are we going to have two funds now? One with that authority and one with that HRDC. Now let's do section 5 of the bill. We have look at the object, the function of the functions of the authority. If we look at the functions of the MITD, and the function of this authority, they are more or less the same. I don't intend to quote all the functions, but they are all or less establish the criteria required for training institution to be given empowering powers. You have it here. Safeguard and market of the intellectual property rights product of the institute. Award certificates and diploma or any technical or vocational qualification. These are more or less the same functions. So are we not duplicating things? And again, like I said, there has been no amendment to the MITD Act. Consequential amendment, there is no mention of any amendment to the legal. So, as it is now, what the law will be, there will be two institutions doing the same job. Now, section 7D. This is one which is creating section 7D. Adequate human and financial resources are provided to the OC for the discharge of its function. Where will we get the adequate human resources? Are those now working at the MQA or the MITD will be transferred to that authority? Are we going to recruit new professionals? And if so, are they not going to do the same job that they are doing actually at the MITD, at the MQA? If they are going to be employed by the new authority, those who are working now doing that assessment at the MITD or the MQA, on what condition they are going to come to that authority? Here again, it's not clear. Because there are some concern, especially at the MITD, that some may be transferred or lose their job or become re-elected, because if the MQA, this one, take over this job, there will be problem. So I hope that the Honourable Minister will clarify again. Now let me come to the powers of the Minister. I'm sure they will tell us that it is in all the law, most of the authorities, the Minister do give instruction and the authority has to abide. But that Minister, in this law, you have an authority. It is supposed to be independent. The object of the bill mentioned the word independent. But now, the Minister may give instruction that is consistent with the law, okay? Mr. X has applied for a permit to run a course. Well, I don't want you to give him that permit. No. Okay, put a condition so that he won't satisfy. Put a condition in his application so that we know full well that he won't be able to satisfy. And the board will have to go according to the extension of the Minister. I'm not personalizing things. I said this is our situation that may happen. Now this, the one who has applied. Under section 20 of the bill, he can appeal. Very good. But when you look at section 20 of the bill, dealing with appeal, what do we see? What do we see? 20 of the bill dealing with appeal. Power officer and section 20 deal with appeal. Every person aggrieved by any decision of the authority on this act may within 40 days of the day appeal to the Minister. So the authority has taken a decision following instruction received by the Minister. Now you are allowed to appeal. Appeal by the Minister to a Minister. So the Minister on receipt of this appeal will have an ad hoc committee, and then there will be an appeal committee. And who sits on the appeal committee? A chairperson who shall be a barrister within at least 5 years experience to be appointed by the Minister. And 2 other members with at least 5 years experience in the field of education to be appointed by the Minister. So, Minister gave instruction, you go and appeal to the Minister, and it is the Minister who set the commission of appeal. And the section 8, subsection 8, the members of the appeal committee and its secretaries shall be paid by such fees and allowance as the Minister may determine. So, it's a mockery of the system, in breach of the basic principle of natural justice. Huh? It reminds me of the fake disciplinary committee we have every day when an employer wants to sack one of his staff. He just set up a disciplinary committee, appointed by him, chosen by him, paid by him, and then the employer sacked. This was not going to put in our law in such an important law. Minister will apply, Minister can intervene, Minister appoint the disciplinary committee. Full power. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I think that we are going in the wrong direction. We may have an umbrella authority, it will be fine, but we have to know how it will function in the presence of the three authorities. We have to know whether there will be no duplication. We have to know who is responsible at the end of the day. Is it the authority, that umbrella authority like we have in Singapore, who looks after the other one? This is clear. We are just creating another authority, like we say. The bill is silent on many, many things. There is no mention of any consequential amendment to the other three acts. So we want to be clear from the Minister what this authority will be, how it will function, and especially how it will collaborate with the existing institution we have. And it's only time we will tell us. Otherwise, we are just creating another authority, like we say, jobs for the boys or for the girls. Thank you, Madam Speaker.